You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hey, what's up, people? We're back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, the Zod and Drea podcast is coming at you live.
So, what a week again.
Yeah, so we're hoping you guys all had a really good week. I was hanging out with a couple of things. Shout out to Jen Germain, who's running a nice campaign. She just started running
Great
in her
launch.
LD.
Congratulations.
Yep, great launch over in LD 18. So shout out to her, and we wish her nothing but great things on her campaign as she moves forward. So we did that launch, and of course, we met up with some people like Zuli. Zuli came into town for that.
Reginald Boulding,
he had his launch as well, and we're big Reggie fans, so he's a really great guy. So congratulations to him. This is the season. This is the season where people are doing their launches. And everyone is just getting in and out. So we're hoping that during this course of the season, you're going to be hearing a lot about these candidates on the Zod and Drea podcast.
You're gonna hear a lot about what's going on in Arizona, about all the different seats, all the different legislation that's coming up too, because we're involved with some of that as well to support some of the things that are really stupid that are coming up in the House right now. But we'll talk about that when the time comes.
Yep. So make sure you look out for that, because we got some things in the pot for you, but we also have some things that are we're cooking up about DACA, so we're hoping you're going to be able to witness that soon, because I think it's the March 5th deadline.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting that we're going to do this.
But I'm talking, well, that's not very exciting. I'm talking about the March 5th.
Yeah,
the March
Scratch
5th
that.
Yeah, the March
Scratch
5th
that, guys.
deadline is coming up for the DACA dreamers to get in a lot of their paperwork and all this other stuff. Oh, well, not even that for that. It's for Congress to get their act together before DACA dies. I think it's going to die. I think DACA's going to die because Trump is just a totalitarian, authoritarian, type of a dictator, that he's going to do that. He took something that was, anyway, we're going to get into that. That it just upsets the hell out of me. That people who are MAGA think that they're way more Americans than others.
Not true.
Anyway.
So what are we talking about today?
All right, let's go real quick. Of course, in entertainment, we're going to talk about the Obama's portrait, which was revealed at the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery today.
And then
relationships.
I'm trying to say.
No doubt. We're going to do what's so great about happy hour after work.
I really want to dive into this because it's always been a lingering question for me.
Yeah.
And what's our main topic?
All right. So the main topic for this one is cultural identity in media and why it matters.
This is going to be great.
Yeah. So this is going to be a good podcast. So the cultural identity in media. So pretty much representation matters, and we're going to talk about why it does. So let's get into it. Let's talk about. I guess we'll go into the Obama's portrait, because I think the happy hour one is going to be kind of intense. But if you don't know, today the Obamas had sat for their. They didn't sit; they had already sat. But today was the reveal for their portraits at the Smithsonian, which was at the National Portrait Gallery. Now, all presidents pretty much have their portraits, sitting up there, and they're usually traditional. These aren't like the White House ones where you can go a little bit more, I guess, liberal on it. But the Obamas, they did something that was a lot more unique, and this is what I love about them. See, the one thing is, you're going to get a lot of people who look at the Obama, oh, you're the most racist, blah, 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 because these are people who do not want to talk about race, even though it exists, but they love to talk about race around their friends, calling people all kinds of N-words and wishing the Confederate flag was still around, and this, But, you get a president who isn't afraid to talk about who he is. Just like, Kennedy talked about his Catholic faith, or his Irish roots.
Yep, he liked the drink.
He liked all this stuff. People who bring that up, they don't say, oh, that's racist. But as soon as a black man says, hey, you know what, black people exist, like, oh, he's racist. What I love is it did not bend the Obamas. So what they did was they made sure that their portraits were painted by black artists. And they didn't get like the huge, they got like more so independent, but up and coming risers, people who are known and are really doing it. And this is going to give them a real big leg up, considering they just did the most famous black couples portrait pretty much probably on the planet. One was done by Kehinde Wiley. He has some really wild portraits. I mean, if you've ever seen him, he has some really good portraits. And he did Barack Obama. And if you want to say Amy Sherald, she did
she did Michelle Obama's portrait, which got a lot of traction on Twitter today.
Yeah, it got some flack.
You know, and I gotta admit, when I first saw it this morning, it didn't look like her, and I don't mean the skin texture or the body structure, because I mean it's got her amazing body, her amazing arms and shoulders. It just, her face, it didn't look so much like her. But then once I looked at it again from different lighting too, I really got to see how beautiful the shading was of her skin and her face. And then I got to learn about how important it was of the dress, which also represents quilting, which is something that was very important to African women and keeping their culture together. Mm-hmm. So now I adore both portraits.
Like, I love them. I think they're different. I still think the Michelle one just is. It looks like a younger version, sort of like Michelle, but it's such smooth texture in what the artist had done. Amy Sherwood's style is way different than Kehinde Wiley's, and I love the fact that they did that. They allowed them to have two different styles. Like, you know, when it wasn't traditional. The stark blue background of the Michelle Obama one allows for her skin, which she paints more so in black and whitish, and you can see there's a big tint of black and white.
Yes.
But also like that very African-styled flavored dress that she's wearing. And apparently, from what I heard, I think they actually sat for these. So it's one of those things where they sat for the portrait.
Right. They chose these artists, and they gave them complete free will.
Yeah, they did.
To do whatever they like. They didn't give them any types of boundaries or requests. They knew their talent. They trusted in their talent.
Which is what art is about. This is what's so dope about this. It wasn't to be the stuffy ones that you're going to see in there. These are going to stand out. You know, of course, you're going to get the MAGA people who are whatever, because they want to go back to 1963. You know, that's what they want to do. They don't want to move forward to where something is absolutely without limits. You know, it's like, let's allow ourselves to express ourselves, you know, but then they explode when you don't. And, you know, Kehinde's style is just like that. If you ever see his art, it's very much just like the Barack Obama one, how he's looking stoically, and Michelle is looking just like almost like a queen. I love the way
it's very royal.
You know, I just, to me, like, I don't know why. I'm telling you, her head is small. Like, yeah, her head is small.
What I loved was I found out, I think we just found out earlier about President Obama's portrait, is that the leaves are all representative of the different countries he's from and the different parts of the world that he's
flowers?
from. So you've got Hawaiian flowers, you got plants from Kenya.
Oh, that's dope.
And he did that on purpose. It was.
Well, I hope he did it on purpose.
Oh, of course, right.
I accidentally made some flowers that were.
But to know that that's how much detail and thought and creativity the artist put in, I love it.
Yeah. So I love the fact that they did this, and, you know, congratulations to the Obamas for having their portraits up in the Smithsonian.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So let's talk about this next topic. You know, let us know what you think also. But let's talk about this next real quick relationship topic, which is what's so great about happy hour after work. Yeah, we're going to attach this to relationships. Because we're talking, I want to talk about work relationships.
Right.
You know, it's been a while since I've been in, you know, a corporate environment or have to work with employees, you know, on a one-on-one. It's been it's been 20-something years, so. But I remember what it was like. And of course, you know, there's certain things I do, you know, where I'll have to be with a client, and maybe the client's like, hey, come on to happy hour. It's sort of similar. But you know, for people who you have to work with all the time, and then it's like, let's go to this other environment where you get to see my face again. It's like, all right, I already work with you, Daryl, for 8 hours. Now I got to work, you know, hang out with you for another 3. I just want my bed. You know, it's like, so what is happy hour, and why do people care?
I don't know. Okay, first of all, for happy hours for me after work, I don't like to go to them. I never enjoyed it, because I'm very private when I'm at work. You know, I have, you know, that personality. I'm outgoing, but I don't let a lot of people in, especially at work, in my true life and what I do. Only 2 people got to really see that in my entire career, and that was Lucy Mitchell and Carrie Mallory. Those are the only 2 people in my entire career.
Those are my peeps.
Those are peeps, and they're still my friends. Why? Because they're good people. What I learned in my career in corporate environment is that you do the happy hour if you want to impress if you want to have that one-on-one time with that leader, that vice president, or that boss that you never really get to talk to, maybe you'll get that moment where you get to see a soft side of them, and boom, you get to develop that personality and move up the ladder. I can't stand it. And then you had so many people that would get super drunk, make a fool of themselves. I don't know how many like on the down low relationships got started at so many happy hours.
But then also, you wind up getting people who start adding you to your friends list who you're like, damn, like now I gotta add you, and then you're gonna see all the real stuff that I write on my
What people don't remember is that if you make a fool of yourself at that, or you do something ridiculous, or you are with somebody, or maybe you just kind of stay away from the party and people see you with somebody for a long time, you're always gonna have that on you. That is always going to carry with you when you're in that organization.
Slut. So then the one thing is bars are always happy with happy hour because they wind up generating a lot more revenue and transactions. According to Restaurant News, Nation's Restaurant News, it seems like on an average an increase in revenue is 26% during happy hours, and transactions are up an average of 24% compared with non-happy hour venues. So that's where it starts rising up. The restaurants, they don't care about your work relationship.
They don't care.
They just want to, get your money, obviously. And also size doesn't matter. So even the smaller bars generated more revenue during happy hour than non-happy hour bar hours.
And bars now, they know that when a corporation is going to be paying for a happy hour. They know when a company is, and they love that because it's guaranteed money. They don't have to worry about splitting up the bill. They get one big bill is going to be paid with one company credit card. They love that stuff.
So, what do you guys do? Me, I'm not really into it because I don't drink alcohol. So whenever I go, people are always like stressed. What, you don't drink? Like, what, am I supposed to? I mean, what the hell is your whole deal? If you want to drink, then go ahead and drink. But, I'll grab my little mixed drink. Mm-hmm. So if you ever see me in the bars, man, I got my front drink.
What's your front drink again?
My front drink is orange and cranberry juice. So I'll be sitting there chilling my little straw in the corner. Like, yo, that looks good, B. Like, yeah, it's sweet. Mm-hmm. But it seems like, look at this. Happy hour at late night have different product mixes. Did you know that happy hour has 13% spirits, 33% wine, and 54% beer? Yet late night, it's 26% spirit, 20% wine, and 54% beer. Beer stays the same no matter what.
No matter what. But I think we just read that some of those statistics are changing because of now the millennials and Gen Xers, they like to now stay home to drink. So they're not attending the happy hour so much. Or if they're having a happy hour, it's going to be something like in a non-bar environment. So that is starting to affect some of the restaurants.
Man, but the percentages will still be the same. Shoot. Just because Generation X isn't going.
No, they're just getting the liquor delivered to them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They're not going, though. So that means it's still the same.
It's still the
same. Happy hour is still the same. It's like,
vodka's
no
still
millennials,
being drunk.
Who gives a shit?
All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye.
Look at my stuff.
I always look.
Yeah, no, because you're always stealing in my shit.
I'm not stealing.
See, you're gonna steal
sharing
this.
The
Yeah,
screen.
you're gonna steal that shit. That's mine.
How'd you know I was gonna talk about that?
I knew you weren't.
Yeah. Yes, I was.
You were. You got something in your teeth.
Shut up.
All right, people. Let's get back into this. Did you pull it out?
I'm gonna leave it there just to annoy you. Just to annoy you. I'm gonna leave it.
You found
now
it. Anyway.
Shut up.
All right, so let's get into this. We're going to talk about, you're going to talk about this. That's my girl. Cultural identity in media and why it matters. All right. You can talk about the Latinos. I'll talk about the Negroes.
That makes sense. Yes.
All right, then. So you can have that one then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, I can have that one.
You can. Oh, I got one. I got one. You don't. I got one. You don't have.
Oh,
though.
that was that pizza you were talking about.
Yeah, it's like an entire pizza in your mouth.
It was delicious.
All right, so people, when you think about that, cultural representation and why it matters, everybody's going buck wild over the Black Panther movie, and some people don't know why, but we do. It's like, Black people have been culturally represented in media, whether it's the news or whether it's in film or TV, usually as the butler. We're the one black friend,
or the savage,
savage, but we're the one black friend who gets killed in the horror movie. Like they represent just enough to throw us in there. Now, into some things they had sprinkled some things, like that's why Spike Lee was so popular. People didn't understand why Spike Lee movies were so popular. People probably still don't understand. Sometimes I don't. Why the Madea movies are so popular, why they made so much money and they never capitalize on it. They will do something like, oh, well, Spike's made that movie and it was real popular. Okay, Spike, make some more of those. Oh, Tyler Perry, your movies were really popular. Go make some more of those. Instead of studios being like, you know what? Let's really, encompass this and hire some black talent.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just put some money behind it if that's what it is, or even encourage them to make their own movies. And let's really do this and share the wealth. But they always revert back to the white, domination or dominated movies, or there's a white hero. It's usually always a white hero. I remember seeing way back in the day, I saw Cry Freedom, which is a really good movie starring Denzel Washington as Stephen Biko. I forgot about this until now. And I loved the movie. It was awesome. I don't know. Did you ever see it?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Cry Freedom? And the one thing, even back then, was, God, why is the white dude got to stand out? This is about Steve Biko, but then the white dude's got to be the hero in it. I'm like, why? But that's what the formula usually is. It's usually that. So Black Panther comes out because it's a Marvel movie. Marvel has been kicking ass since 2000, I believe, 8 or so, with Iron Man. But even before that with Blade. Blade was a big success. And they didn't really capitalize that hard. But Blade made a lot of friggin' money. And he was the first black real Marvel Universe superhero.
Which movie came out first, Spawn or Blade?
I don't know. I don't know which one did. But Spawn was Spawn. Even though it was a black lead.
We'll think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
I just saw something disgusting. Why did 50 Shades Free lead Weekend as the franchise tops $1 billion worldwide? They were ill. Anyway,
I hate that movie. I don't even.
And this is what I'm talking about. This 50 Shades. First of all, dumb book, but white lead, oh, it's so romantic and stuff. The one thing is that if you had black leads, which are a lot of black movies or something like that, they won't go see those. But something like this stupid thing, it's a dumb movie. But the reason why Black Panther is making so much is because the representation is so strong. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Barack Obama.
I cannot associate with a 50 Shades of gray, pink, or whatever that is. I'm like, girl, you just want to be tied up. Fine, whatever.
And slapped around. But then it's I don't
associate with that.
If you want to see a sexy movie like that, then look at The Secretary.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, look at The Secretary. Mm-hmm. Way better than 50 Shades of anything. But that's a whole different story. We're talking about Black Panther and why it's representation. I mean, we're talking about it's not a slave movie. Mm-hmm. It's not about a documentary piece about something Martin Luther King or somebody. It's none of those. Which I do love historical movies, but they feel that black people and the way that we existed died in 1968 when King did. Anything else before that, cool. From roots and slavery all the way up to 1968, then it's there are no black people after that point. And so this is a comic book hero where now Marvel is making all this money, making billions. I mean, the Avengers and this and that. And once they introduced, I think it was in with the Captain America versus the Civil War movie. That's when they introduced Black Panther. And it's when people first saw him in the trailer of that movie, they were like, wait, hold on. It was almost just as big as seeing the Spider-Man one. They were like, wait, Black Panther, is that? Then they see him in action. It's wait a minute. Now he's getting his own movie. This is now Wakanda, where the Black Panther comes from, is a fictional African, but it's the richest. He's the most athletic. He's the richest guy. He's a king. All these people are. It's a black representation never seen before on this scale. where everything is black, except probably the money that made it and funded it, but everything is black on it. And when people see this, it's not just black people that are going to be flocking to it. White people and white nerds and white geeks and Marvel and DC users and people who just want to see, they are getting amped up off of this character as well. And to see that, it's almost like sending a signal to Hollywood, like, wait a minute, this really does? Yeah, we've been telling you this. This is why Martin was a success. This is why, Hanging with Mr. Cooper was a success, and Girlfriends, and Living Single, and so many TV
And yes, even Cosby Show.
And
okay?
Cosby Show was enormous.
Come on.
These are black casted people from the 80s doing positive things, and they still didn't grasp it and really run with it. So that's why representation matters. It doesn't just matter for the bottom line. It matters for the people who are seeing it like, wow, this guy, this isn't that single little black character. This isn't the maid. This isn't, this isn't the help. These people are really, even though, I do love the historical figures such as, Hidden Figures and something else. But these people in a genre where it is dominated by white people can possibly be one of the biggest ones. It's exciting.
It's exciting to see the possibility of what can happen and can open up. And representation is everything, and it's so important. And you and I, when we first started dating, we had a conversation about Latino movies. Like, what certain movies do you like that, certain like movies that represented the Latino culture and movement. And I had to sit and think about it. I was like, we don't have a lot that were made by Hollywood. We really don't. We're holding on tight still to like Stand and Deliver. That was about
Stand and Deliver and American Me and
American Me.
There were a couple. If you want to laugh, then Blood In, Blood Out.
God, hey, but that's so good.
But right?
Mi Vida Loca, which again, it does fall into a stereotype, but at least it represented something of our community. And come on, and Selena.
I was about to say Selena. I got Selena up here.
Selena was. I remember I still cry to the end of Selena. Okay,
I don't.
But because you don't understand. But to me, it was like that. Seeing that story on the screen and on TV, it's like, okay, somebody gets us, especially, the American Mexican experience too, because that's a different experience too. But that's all we got. Now we do have a Netflix series, One Day at a Time, which is awesome. That's on the Cuban American experience. But that's all we have. We don't have really that much representation now.
The only thing I got to say with Mexican Americans, or maybe not Mexican Americans, I would say maybe per Latinos. Se, but Latinos, you guys wind up having your own show. You have a country of Mexico. So they produce Mexican movies. You have Spain where they produce Spanish movies. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen African movie, like some of the independent African. If you want to look up some funny stuff, I ought to post it up. But what was it? What happened to Captain? They're ridiculous. It's not Hollywood. It's nothing. There is nothing like that within even. Kenya, I'm trying to think if there are any black, there's nothing that stands. We have countries and continents, but we don't have the resources to do that. So some people wind up taking it into their own hands. But we don't have those huge resources. We don't have the European resources that Spain has. We don't have, like Mexico, they have TV state. They have Telemundo. They got all this.
Right.
We have, some black American ones, TV One, but I heard that might be gone or something.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it. And we do have magazines and things, but representation matters, and that's why some of these things really sell. If there was a black Hollywood, we're starting to make our things. I love Ava DuVernay. I love that she's given a chance to do certain things, and you're getting a lot of F. Gary Gray. He's done Fantastic Four movies. So I love the fact that they're coming up, but we don't have that abundance. It's funny you say that because I actually did look up a whole bunch, I think it was a Latino list, and it was a lot.
But again, it's strictly just to that one.
It's like Bollywood.
Right, and Bollywood's huge, but again, it doesn't have that whole. It doesn't have that U.S. acceptance, and maybe it should be a reverse conversation to look at for myself is. Who cares if it doesn't have the U.S. acceptance then? Let's just rock what we have.
I didn't realize, The Secret in Our Eyes, that's Argentinian. City of God is Brazilian.
Brazilian.
Yeah, look at this. So, there are individual movies that do cross over and
like
do
Water
make
for
it.
Chocolate.
Oh, Water for Chocolate.
Oh man, that's a sexy movie. Okay, forget that 50 Shades of crap.
50 Shades of garbage. I mean, these are all ones that I'm looking, but they're all spread out. So it's like now the one that you didn't talk about.
Frida?
No. Oh well, that one too. But,
I was like, Frida rocked my world.
But Frida is still a historical character. We're talking like fantasy and why fantasy. Like this is a genre, the fantasy genre. What's the one fantasy movie that was real big?
Coco.
Yeah.
Coco meant everything because even though it is based on it's a cartoon, right? But the fact that it was led by Mexican and Latino artists from across the globe that gave their talents. They went to Mexico. The artists went there. Disney went there and was like, okay, how can we honor this celebration? How can we honor this tradition? That meant, I know, so much for people from Mexico to celebrate their culture and to celebrate who we are, right? And it made millions and millions. And now it's gotten all these Golden Globes and it's nominated for Academy Awards. I can't believe who it's compared to. What is it compared? It's running up against that stupid baby movie.
What are you talking about?
Coco for best animated film.
That Boss Baby.
Right,
That's your shit.
And I'm telling you, if Boss Baby wins, I'm protesting. So that's stupid. But again, it's these little things that it's taking forever to do, right? I mean, the Latino population is huge in the United States. Our media is important. It recognizes who we are. I want to start seeing faces that look like me on screen and on that Netflix scroll. Because we were going through Netflix the other day, going through all the different movies and documentaries, and all these options are available. And it's like, how many of these movies have nobody of color that's leading it?
Like, I mean, the one thing with Coco is that they had the focus on Mexican culture and everything. I mean, the closest thing they got to black was The Princess and the Frog. Which was the first black princess, and I didn't see it. I don't really watch all that Disney crap, but the fact that it only domestically grossed $104 million, which is still acceptable in all this. But worldwide, which is funny, worldwide they made even more at $267 million. Now that's nothing like a Frozen or some of their other stuff, but I mean they really didn't. I remember they were doing it, but they didn't really push it. It wasn't like a Finding Nemo or, any of that stuff. So I don't know how, it would compare to something like Brave. I mean, Brave, I remember they pushed the hell out of Brave.
The Scottish one, right?
It was really well done. But even Brave domestically grossed $237 million. And, total it made $540. So, but there's still an audience. I mean, if you still made 267 or whatever you made million, 267 million, that's 267 million. I don't know how much you put into it, but that's the first black princess, Disney. So why don't you have more? Why don't you put a different story together? Do you need a white princess every single time?
Right.
I think Moana made a lot too.
Right.
I don't know if that's a princess in there or anything.
I don't know. I didn't see that. And also too, think about what's the one with Robin Williams.
Popeye?
No, the cartoon, Aladdin. That was actually one of their first ones that actually had somebody that the characters were not painted white.
See, and I got to look at Aladdin. Moana made $643 million, and that's like a little brown Hawaiian dude. Aladdin in what was it? Was that it?
That was like in the early 90s, I think.
Jeez, man, I can't believe time flies like that. But see, that's the whole thing. Who voiced it? Robin Williams. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't even get a real Indian dude to friggin' do Aladdin, or a Persian dude. They couldn't get a Persian dude to do Aladdin. So it's like, to me, that's drawing him one way and then to voice him another way is almost like blackface to me, But anyway, that's why representation to me means something, and that's why Black Panther is going to make so much money. They better rethink things. Right.
That's why Coco was great too, and still go see it.
So anyway, let us know what you think, because representation matters, and this doesn't just go for black and white or Latino, like black and Latino. The Asians. Do you remember when they did Avatar? It was the last Avatar or whatever, and Asians went crazy. Then they did. I forgot there was some other movie Asians are still getting crapped on by Hollywood. You guys
saw it. It was the one with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Ghost in a Bottle or whatever it's called. Ghost in a Cloud. I forgot what it's called. But, same thing. So anyway, let us know. Make sure you listen to us, follow us, subscribe, give us a like button, and always share all of our content.
Again, if you want to be part of our DACA discussion, please let us know. Reach out to us.
Yeah, the phone number is going to be everywhere on the website. I think the phone number. Otherwise, just send us a contact information there. Everywhere else you can call, or just send us a message through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you find us. All right, so that's about it for this podcast. Make sure you check us out next week.
Enjoy, bye.
Peace.